It sounds like finally, after 6 years of waiting, Disneyland has not only raised their prices to $200 for select nights, but the people who have been asking, when can we do this again, are finally getting their answer. You might be able to paint the night very soon out at Disneyland Resort. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is the guy who wants to talk about a parade, Mr. VashSky. Vash, are you ready? Have you got your seat on the sidewalk? You've not reserved it and then walked away, have you?
No, no. I've got my personal items there, Jonas. So don't worry. My seat will be saved assuredly when I return. No, I will say, Jonas, I have been waiting a long time to do this again, and I know a lot of people at Disneyland Resort have been as well. And by the way, Jonas, did you know that Paint the Night is not only a fan favorite but also a favorite of Mr. Josh Giamaro's?
Well, I'm glad he has a favorite. It should be the Main Street Electrical Parade, but, you know, to each their own. Behind that would be, I believe, Spectro Magic. And somewhere after that is any of the other parades that I happen to have heard of. But, man, I love a good Disney night parade.
Oh, Disney night parades are the best, and unfortunately, Disneyland Resort has been without one for quite some time. Now, that's nothing in comparison to how long Walt Disney World has been without a nighttime parade. I think Magic Kingdom last had the electrical parade, I want to say 2009, something around there. Like it's been a long time, but hey, you know what? At least you can get your nighttime parade fix at Disneyland. And interestingly enough, here's the Disney Parks TikTok page. It's interesting, Jonas. They didn't actually utilize their X page. That's weird move right
strange. There. They decided to go with this platform that's owned by China instead of the other platform, which is owned by Saudi Arabia. And there's that one guy, I forget his name.
Yeah. This is some robot manufacturer or something weird. But you can see right here, this is where the post would actually be. And you can see the video right here that they premiered. And it's the famous Mack truck, one of the most famous floats from this parade that they featured there. And it is a quick snippet. But apparently that is them letting everybody know that Paint the Night will be returning to the Disneyland Resort. We don't know quite the details on if it's returning to Disneyland Park proper or if it is returning to Disney California Adventure. People will note that when it made its debut in 2015, it ran, I believe, a couple of seasons up until 2016. Then it was moved from Disneyland Park to Disney California Adventure Park for the, I think, 2017 season all the way into 2018. Sorry, 2018 season. And it was actually redesigned in order to do that. So one of the floats, the Frozen float, actually had to be completely replaced with an Incredibles themed float because it was a little bit too tall for those red car trolley wires. Well, you know, maybe that situation might change here in a couple of years. Who knows? But it is very exciting to get this parade back. I know that it was supposed to come back. I have this on very good authority. It was supposed to come back actually for the 2023 season, interestingly enough. And people will note that that was the same season in which the dragon, Maleficent's dragon, actually burnt down to the ground. So it would have been nice to have had Paint the Night there because once the dragon actually fell, well, Fantasmic didn't return until the next year, as we have so covered on this show.
Well,
now,
you could argue, of course, that Mickey did a good enough job in slaying the dragon, which he does every night at Fantasmic, that the dragon eventually just capitulated and ended its own existence.
That's actually a good point right there. And one could make the argument, yes, that is the way it goes right there. But again, if Mickey was going to slay him in that way, it would have been nice to have had an entertainment option like Paint the Night playing as well, so that way it could have picked up the slack there. Apparently, though, it did not get approved when they were going over the budgets, and that's the other story too. Usually, the Disneyland Resort will have its budgets greenlit and reviewed around this time at the start of the fiscal year for the Walt Disney Company. And so that's why I think we're hearing the Paint the Night has been approved to return. Now, this was no easy feat. There's a couple of issues that prevented Paint the Night from actually returning. For one, they had entertainment department had a pretty difficult time with this parade specifically costume characters and so forth. Apparently, there were a lot of injuries occurring from some of the character costumes, so those will have to be revamped when this actually returns. So it's been a little problematic in that way. Also, too, the original fabricators for this parade are no longer in business, and that was one of the things that kept this from coming back even sooner. A lot of these floats need to be rehabbed by a pretty good extent. They've always been in storage, and people have taken pictures of them in storage and so forth, but they were in kind of rough shape. So it's going to cost, I think, a little bit more than the Walt Disney Company wanted to necessarily shell out in years prior. But Josh G. Morrow, I have heard he's a big fan, and he looks like he got it through to the finish line, which I think is all good. However, I do have issues even with something like this being announced. And look, when they announced that tickets were going to be, over $200 for the first time, that, the Magic Key passes were going to be approaching $2,000 with an average of 6.5 or 6% increase on ticket prices throughout the entire gambit there on tier 0, tier 6 tickets. Also, too, the park hopper option is going to be a lot more expensive. All those things. Well, I think I said it at the time, Jonas, it would have been nice to have had an announcement like that be done in a way that shepherded, maybe some returning entertainment like Paint the Night. It would have been great to have had that happen. Unfortunately, they didn't. You have a lot of people, having this reaction here. Prices went up. Now, Paint the Night coming back in 2025. So people are a little bit more optimistic about Disneyland Resort in the future. I will agree. Look, we're not going to get an attraction for 5 years. Entertainment is a great way in which to have people coming back year over year until some of those attractions come online. And
right.
A lot of people have been asking.
That's a very good point. That's something that Disney used to be, whether or not people realize it, that's something Disney did for a very long time. If they were going to announce bad news, they announced good news at the exact same time. So, like the $50 discount and the $200 price increase, you would have assumed those would be paired together. Except, of course, there's an industry of news channels that like to point out how to best read Disney media releases here, to the point where when something good is announced at the Walt Disney Company, you have people specifically looking for, okay, well, what's the other thing that you don't want us to notice in this?
And remember, they announced those price increases under the cover of Hurricane Milton. Remember, Milton was going to make a landfall, the day after that. So you had a lot of people preparing. You had all the news sites consumed by Hurricane Milton coverage right there. But the news sites that did pick it up, you can see right here, Orange County Register, Forbes, CNN, Bloomberg, everybody caught wind of the story that Disney was going to increase their prices. So now with Paint the Night being announced, by the way, on a Friday, which is a little strange for getting the message out there, well, now you have Cinema Blend, Laughing Place, Walt Disney World News Today, Mike's Chat, Theme Park Insider. You have a lot of theme park oriented sites covering this, which is great. But again, because you had so much media attention on the price increases themselves, you could have announced these things simultaneously so that message was carried along with those price increases. And it could have gotten the word out to a wider audience. I just think there was a lot of missed opportunities here. I am glad that they're investing in entertainment, and the 70th anniversary is coming up for Disneyland Resort. We heard at the D23 Expo actually recently that they were going to place a big emphasis on the 70th anniversary for Disneyland around the time of, July 17th. So all this is positive. I just feel like it could have been done so much better. And again, Paint the Night is great, but a lot of people are still trying to justify the last round of price increases. And so maybe a show at the Hyperion, that would do wonders right there. Maybe a few other entertainment options that have been stripped away over the last 8 years would have worked out nicely as well. Paint the Night, though, is a big win, and we have to give them that.
I have one question that I think could be a positive thing here for Disney. I have not seen the Paint the Night parade, and I wanted to ask you, do they have a Tron segment of the Paint the Night parade?
They do not have a Tron segment. They need a Tron segment, though. I think that would be
okay. Well, really, I tried.
Awesome.
I'm trying to be positive here in this positive news story. This does actually look like a pretty cool parade. Also, nobody does parades like Disney does parades, although I am seeing some pretty cool stuff out of the mega movie parades that Universal Studios Florida and Universal Studios Hollywood. Are they doing mega movie as well? I don't know.
They are
I
not.
need to go
they
out.
are not.
What? What?
No,
Okay. See, we're back to negative again.
Well, they are investing in some hotels, though. So keep track of that Park Place, because we might have some stories coming up on that in the near future.
That's very true. With that being said, we want to throw this to our commenters. Hey, are you excited about Paint the Night coming back? Personally, I'd like to see it. That being said, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.